This is Joe Besser. I like rock and roll, but not so hard.
When me and my friends go out in the town, we can't sit still, we can't sit down. We don't like to fight and we don't like to scuffle, but we dance all night doing the curly shuffle. Hey Mo, hey Mo,
Hey Mo, hey Mo.
well yuck, 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 yuck.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
Well, we never miss a chance. We get up and dance and do the curly shuffle. Well, me and my friends love Larry and Mo. We love Curly's brother Shemp and his fat clone Joe. It's such a delight to boogie and hustle, dancing all night doing the curly shuffle. Hey Mo, hey Mo,
Hey Mo, hey Mo.
well yuck, 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 yuck.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
Oh, wise guy.
Oh, right.
Well, we never miss a chance. We get up and dance and do the curly shuffle.
That's right.
Well, me and my friends, we all love to see comedy classics on late night TV. Those knuckleheads love to get in a scuffle. They push and they shove, doing the curly shuffle. Hey Mo, hey Mo,
Hey Mo, hey Mo.
well yuck, 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 yuck.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
Look at the grouse, look at the grouse.
Look at the crowds, look at the crowds.
Well, we never miss a chance. We get up and dance and do the curly shuffle. Right, we do the curly shuffle.
What'd you say?
We do the curly shuffle.
That's what I thought you said.
We do the curly shuffle. We do the curly shuffle.
Sweetly.
We never miss a chance. We get up and dance and do the curly shuffle.
The Three Stooges recently because they have just gotten, finally, their name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Joe Besser, you happen to be, I think, the last remaining Stooge.
There is another one after me, Joe DeRita.
Joe DeRita played
But
Stooge.
I never met him.
You didn't?
No, see, when I left, I finished the Stooges the last 2 years that they had under contract with Columbia.
Okay.
And I was also under contract to Columbia. I was there for 14 years at Columbia, making my own pictures. And they asked me to join the Stooges on their last 2 years, and I liked the boy so much, I said, definitely, you know.
You had, so you did some shorts with the Stooges.
I
But,
just did did 2 years of their shorts.
uh-huh.
And then I left when the 2 years was up. They disbanded, you know. And they wanted to go on the road playing nightclubs, and I didn't want to do that because my wife was ill at the time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't leave her for anybody.
You know, if you're trying to get a picture of Joe Besser, you're one of those great, wacky character, I guess, is about one.
It's a cute character. Kids love it. The grown-ups love it.
Mhm.
It's clean.
You have to have your hand kind of behind your head, and then you have to go. Well, can you do the line for the folks?
What line is that?
Well, the not so hard line.
Again?
Yeah, would you mind?
You like it so much you want me to repeat it? Not so hard.
Yeah, that's it. You were Stinky on the Abbott and Costello TV show.
Gee.
I think that's when I fell in love with the character. You had the what was it, little Leroy Pompleroy outfit.
Yeah, you had a Buster Brown, you know, with the big collar and the round hat with the thing hanging down, you know. It's just it's a cute little character, Stinky. I originally did that with Alan Young.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, that's where Lou saw it and enjoyed it so much, and we were friends, and he asked me to, if I would do it for him, he's going to do a new show, and I was glad to do it with Lou, because he was one of the nicest guys that, well, you can't say enough nice things about that boy.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, the art of slapstick seems to be lost, and it is an art, because if anybody tries to do it today, it just doesn't come off right for some reason.
Why?
Why's that?
They got dirty things in their mind. They think they got to do everything in a bad way, you know. See, we never. I've been in show business 69 years.
Wow.
And I have never done one bad word on the stage in my life. You know when I say bad word.
Sure.
I didn't have to. I played with a lot of kids. I love them. They love me. You know, I hate to talk about myself, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, but you have an appeal for an adults too, and slapstick.
Oh, look at they were a great audience for me. My God, the children. When I played in the vaudeville for years, after all, the grown-ups came at night. You know, the kids. I'm talking about kids in a matinee on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I used to leave the stage and leave my straight man alone, and I used to walk down, and I used to eat their popcorn, sit with them, and I used to holler after my straight man, "Go ahead, be funny."
Uh-huh. Did you come from show business family, Joe?
No, only my brother. My brother before me, he was 10 years older than I was.
Yeah.
He left home. Of course, I don't remember. I was just a little kid then, but I remember when he came back to visit. He went away with the Buffalo Bill rodeo shows. You know, those big carnival things.
Right.
He was with Buffalo Bill, and he developed into a comedian, and he became a very good burlesque comedian.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever worked Bloomington Normal when you were doing vaudeville.
Bloomington?
Yeah.
Oh, you bet I did. The RKO Theater. I mean, I don't know whether it's the RKO.
Well, no, I'm talking Bloomington, Illinois now, of course.
Well, that's where I played. I don't think
we had
the town that I missed.
We had the Majestic Theater here.
That's probably where I played in vaudeville.
Okay.
Years ago. But it was for, well, there were so many different circuits then, I don't remember.
Well, it was a great training ground, though, for comedy, and you could actually learn what was funny because it got laughs if it was funny.
Oh, well, and vaudeville was a great... See, today, a comedian hasn't got a chance to develop like they did when I was way back, because there's no place to play. If you want to do a new act today, you could either play a nightclub, and that's the only place an act could develop anything.
Sure.
But we played theaters. I remember years ago when we did a new act, like RKO, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They used to send us out for 6 months in their family theaters to break in the act for about 6 months. Then they'd bring us into New York, and we'd play a big theater to show our act for all the big theater men, you know?
Yeah. Were you doing the kid character then, too?
I did that it's funny. I started doing that when I was with Alexander and Olson. You know, you've heard of Olson and Johnson.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, Alexander and Olson, Olson was Olson's brother. That, you know, his name was Ole. The fellow that I was with was Ole. And his brother, with Olson and Johnson, took Ole's name, took Ole. You know what I mean?
And then they made films later on.
And, well, I was with Alexander and Olson. I started doing all this comedy that of course, it's a long story. See, they're writing a book about me, my autobiography, the two boys that wrote the Three Stooges scrapbook.
Oh, you're right, right. Well, I'm gonna anxiously await that when it comes out.
Yeah, well, this is good. So that explains everything, what I've done.
You've had a long career. I tell you, I was just remembering now, you were the janitor on the Joey Bishop show.
5 years.
What was the character's name?
Jilson.
Jilson, the janitor.
Yeah, I used to holler down the ventilators to my wife down in the basement. You never see her, but I always hollered at her, you know, in the
yeah,
it was a wonderful show, and Joey Bishop was a wonderful guy.
And I don't know if you were a regular, but you at least did several guest spots, at least one guest spot that I'm aware of on the old Jack Benny show, where you were a waiter.
I did his radio. I did his radio shows, and I did about 15 Benny shows.
Well, I can recall one where Jack goes to the racetrack.
Oh God, I did I did quite. I took over Anderson's place,
Rochester's.
Rochester's place when he was ill.
I'll be darned.
I worked in a dressing room. I did his like Rochester would do.
I think you're right. I do remember a couple of those episodes now. It's been so long since we've seen some of those.
A lot of shows with Benny, and of course Fred Allen I was with for a long time.
Well, you have really worked with the top names in show business.
Greatest, and Jolson, and so did my wife. My wife is show business.
Oh, what's your wife's name?
Ernie, E-R-N-I-E. They changed it from Erna to Ernie because her name was Ernie. When she went, it was Ernie K.
Mm-hmm.
And they wanted the easier name, you know.
Yeah.
So they fitted the Ernie Best. She was with the Alan K. Foster girls.
Okay.
They were before the Rockettes were ever born, you know.
Yeah. Are you from the East?
I'm from St. Louis.
Oh, well.
I was born in St. Louis.
Okay.
And yeah, she worked with Jolson and Cantor, and she worked also with Benny and the Vanities.
Yeah. Out of all the people you've worked with, Joe, who would you think probably you remember the most? Anybody?
It's gonna be hard. There isn't anybody that I've ever worked with that I didn't like.
Yeah. Do you still do jobs now occasionally?
Do what?
Do you still get parts on TV or?
The only thing I accept now is from Hanna-Barbera cartoons. I don't want to do any more live shows anymore.
Okay.
It's gotten out of hand.
Uh-huh. Well, I'll tell you, the Three Stooges is what really kind of triggered my memory of you because you stood in. For some reason, the part of Curly was filled by so many different people over the years. In fact, even Shemp, the other brother, came in.
Well, Mo had two brothers.
Right.
Curly and Shemp.
Right, and Shemp left the act for a while, didn't he?
Well, Shemp left the act. This is a nice story, because that's also in our new book, being there. So I'm going to give it to you. They were in a show with me in New York for the Schuberts called The Passing Show. We were only in rehearsal. They were with Ted Healy then.
Okay. So that was really the start of the Stooges then, huh?
No, they were working together. This was the first time in a Broadway show.
Okay.
But Ted Healy had a fight with the Schuberts, and they walked out. They wanted Shemp to go with them, but he refused to go. He wanted to be in a Broadway show. Now, they had a kid brother that used to be with them hanging around, you know. They lived in New York. And they were stuck for the third Stooge. So Mo said, don't worry about it. I got a great idea. I'll take my kid brother, and we'll cut off his hair, and we'll call him Curly. And that's how he became Curly.
I'll be doggone.
Now, later years, Curly died. Shemp came back with the Stooges.
In the meantime, Shemp had been away. I think I know he'd made a couple of films with W.C. Fields, didn't he?
Oh, well, he went away from years.
Yeah.
And then as Curly passed away, then Shemp came back.
Uh-huh.
Now, Shemp passed away, and Columbia, who I was under contract, I told you, for 14 years, asked me if I would go in and join the boys on their last 2 years. And I was glad to, because we used to have a lot of fun around the sets anyway. We worked at the same studio.
So even though you knew him years ago, it was later on when you got to actually work with him on film.
Yeah, I knew him well, as I said, they were in a show with me.
Yeah.
Almost.
What were the shorts that you did? Were they called the Joe Besser shorts, or?
Yeah, every one of them called the Joe Besser shorts.
I wish Columbia would release some of those again.
No, I never understood that.
Yeah.
Never understood that. And the worst part of it, all those years, you know, everybody thinks that the Stooges made a lot of money getting residuals, right?
Yeah.
They never got a dime.
Because they were made before TV was thought of, probably, huh?
They were made before residuals were born.
Oh, that's
the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
See, that didn't come in until 1960.
That's unfortunate, isn't it?
Oh, sure, and the kids kill me. They think, gee, we made a lot of dough. They're getting to know now because there are a lot of papers have told them the truth about we've got nothing.
Yeah. Well...
They made millions.
And in the meantime, they still hold the rights to the films, and of course, they're still making money because the Stooges are still shown all over.
Oh, God, yes. Even here, it's on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. Joe, well, I hope life is treating you well, and I do really thank you for talking with us.
It's a pleasure, and say hello to all the folks that, and you have to help me with...
Here in Bloomington, Illinois.
Yeah, because I loved that town when I played it. They were a good audience, and give them all my best.
Joe Besser.